Hey YouTube, out here on outside building here, out for a little ride, a little underdressed for the weather, 42 degrees, but I haven't done a video in a while. We made our trip back home. We didn't do any sightseeing on the way back home. It was just, my wife was feeling crappy. Not sure exactly what's going on there. Don't think it's COVID though. The bikes, I didn't get to go out and ride. I only rode one day and only for a short period of time. And that was without my wife, and I didn't do a video. The bikes stayed in the back of the truck for the most part for 6, 7. The car odometer, the trip odometer says we did 9,400 miles total, but that was some driving. Once we got to Potlatch, we were in Potlatch, Idaho for a little while, but we enjoyed our trip, had a good time, left a little earlier to come back because of weather. We had some storm systems coming in, and it was just not something I was going to enjoy sitting around watching. So we decided to head home. We'll probably be going back out there this summer, maybe permanently. At least that's what we're thinking. Just because we are retired, nothing to hold us in Michigan anymore, really. We have a stepdaughter, but she's 31 years old. She can live her life without us, and it's not like we're going to Mars or something. And during our trip, we just didn't have the ability to upload videos in a timely manner. It would have took literally the Wi-Fi we were using would have took hours to upload a short video. Where at home, I have 5G available and internet that's fast. Anyway, the bike, I just had to do a front brake adjustment. I'm not sure why. Maybe a cable got stretched, just hanging out in the back of the truck. Let me turn you around here. The bike, a little dusty and dirty, kind of like me, a little dusty, but it's holding up well. 680 miles, so we'll call this the 700-mile review. I'm not going to go much farther. I should have wore a windbreaker above on my upper part of my body. The gloves we have are winter biking gloves. They seem to work okay, but you get much more above 8 or 9 miles an hour and you're gonna get cold with them. You got to just remember, take your wintertime riding at a slower pace. Some exercise is better than no exercise, and this cycling with an electric bike will help you lose weight. For those that have been keeping track, I am down to 285 from 315, and I've been riding. You guys, I started my blog about the same time I got my or I should say vlog, about the same time I got my bike. So we're talking in about 5 months I've lost 30 pounds. I'm hoping to continue my weight loss journey. Everything seems to be going good for me. I'm enjoying the cycling. Ankles raise hell once in a while, but that's to be expected. The bike's got dirty in the back of the truck, even though I have a bed cover. It's still got a little dusty. But we also had them out of the truck for a little while, sitting at our camp spot, and it got a little dirty then. Batteries doing good in the cold. You can count in some decreased battery life. Keep in mind that you can't charge a battery if it gets below 32, probably actually a little above that, probably 34 degrees. You're going to want to take your battery out of your bike and put it in the house. So when I get home, I'll be taking my battery out and bringing it in the house to charge it. It's going to get cold tonight. We've got storms coming in, windstorms, so I was planning on riding tomorrow, but it don't look like that'll happen. With 35 to 40 mile an hour winds, it's not going to be any fun. Other than that, I don't have any maintenance updates. I got a rattle going on now that the bike is out of the truck. I'm not quite sure where it is, but I believe it's one of the fenders, probably the front fender. Probably got it tweaked a little bit, but I'm not going to mess with it yet. I'm going to make sure I know where it's coming from before I start doing stuff to it. Believe it or not, we still got bugs out in Michigan. I was just swatting at a bug. Things that make you go, It was down to 25 degrees last night. I don't even know how they survived that. So I'm going to call it. Hope you're all enjoying your cycling time. Don't let winter shut you down. Just take it at a slower pace, dress a little warmer. Remember, if you're warm in the first mile or two, then you probably dress too warm. So expect to start your ride out a little chilly. Stretch, make sure your back is warmed up before you get on the bike. And I hope that will help you continue cycling. One more word, let me do. I'm going to talk about COVID. For some of you, it's not real. For a lot of people, it is. Some people believe it's all a made-up thing to win an election. I wish it was. COVID in my family is pretty real. We've had a few people that were seriously sick. My wife's had a few friends that were seriously sick. And after traveling, we almost made it to every western state west of the Mississippi. We only missed a couple. So here's my view of what's happening in the country. People aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, it's your choice. It's a personal choice. But your choice should never affect anybody else. Just remember that. If you can, I don't think that's unreasonable to believe your choices shouldn't affect somebody else. Seen lots of places, little small towns where you didn't see anybody wear a mask. And they have a nightmare facing them in the near future because COVID is no longer a big city thing. It's creeping into the smaller communities now. And while we were at my brother's, they had somebody come up positive at the little store, a tiny little store. They had somebody come up positive and they had to shut the store down for a week to clean. They didn't know where it came from, had no idea. But outsiders, I'd like to say it was somebody local, but it was probably somebody traveling through the area, kind of like me. I don't have COVID. I don't have any symptoms of COVID, but somebody gave it to them. Being that in the military, I was a decon specialist, nuclear, biological, and chemical specialist. I have a little understanding of how diseases are spread, and unfortunately, this one is it's gone pretty wild in the United States. Those of you that want to blame our political system, I don't know. I ain't blaming them. I'm blaming the people. What you have to be told what is right and what is wrong. And I don't think it's the government's job to tell us how we should protect ourselves. that's all politically I'm going to say, is that the government shouldn't be blamed for what's going on in this country. If we expect them to control our lives, then we're already giving them too much control. I fought for our freedoms, and as many of you did, and many Americans have given their life so that you can make a choice on how you live your life. Don't let the government decide how to live your life. If we're all doing the right thing, then the government has no involvement in coronavirus other than getting us the supplies and things that we need. And I know at the beginning it was rough, but listen, we haven't had a health emergency like this since the Spanish flu. And as much as I'd like to think we learn lessons and remember them, we don't. We keep reliving the same mistakes every decade, and the next one we'll relive. We may be a little better prepared. We may have plans in place, but sooner or later somebody's going to say, why do we have all these respirators, and why do we have all these masks? We don't need them. They're just going to get outdated, and we're just going to have to replace them, and then sooner or later we'll be right where we were. Well, I've rambled along enough. I hope you all are healthy. Get out and ride your bike. Enjoy the nature. And if you have any questions about your bike, it doesn't have to be about an electric bike, and it doesn't have to be about any particular brand. If you need help with anything, go ahead and shoot me a comment, and I'll answer it if I can possibly answer it, or point you in the right direction. Thank you. Please subscribe.